Today we're talking about the real hard part of making videos. But before we do that, if you're new here, welcome. I make videos about design, engineering, human-computer interaction, but these diary entries are a little different. They are more informal, they are just face-to-face. It's just me talking to the camera and sharing what I learned, what I didn't learn, and different parts of the journey. So if you want to check season 1, you can check it somewhere in here. Let's get started. This week something has been on my mind, and that's the idea that I initially thought that I would struggle with recording, with editing, with animating, with talking to the camera, because these are not my areas of expertise. It's not something I learned how to do. It's something I'm learning on the go. And I do struggle sometimes. It can get challenging. But after making a few videos, I had the realization, which is that making the videos is actually the simple part. What is hard is to figure out what you want to say, the story, the message that resonates with you, that resonates with the audience, and to package that into a story and that then takes form of a video that would then resonate with the audience, while packaging that into a simple form video that will be engaging enough for the audience to continue following, and to say something that is unique to you and that is not contaminated from the external world. And don't get me wrong, recording, editing, filming, all of that takes years of experience. It takes craft to actually master it and do it right. But the journey within yourself to try to figure out what do you really want to say and what will resonate with you and what's the message you really want to share and put out there in the world, that takes a little bit of vulnerability with yourself, and it takes time and effort to process. It takes energy to do that journey within and to figure out what is the message that I want to share from inside. That's the hard part to figure out, and that's what takes a lot of energy and work to do. So all of that to say is that every single thing you put out there has to be like this deep revelation that you had about yourself. Like, not at all. You're experimenting, you're learning, you're trying to figure things out. At least I am. But what I do try to do is the intentionality and the way you're trying to work towards that bigger goal and those values that you stand for and what you want to share and what has worked for me. And I'm just sharing this in case it works for someone else. But I appreciate that everyone is slightly different and everyone will have their own habits. But for me, taking advantage of my mornings is quite important. Right after you wake up, that's hopefully when your brain is in a rested state, it hasn't been contaminated, or probably is the least contaminated that you will ever have it during the day. And it is important that in that moment I try to tune into what I really care and what I really want to do. So before looking into any screens, before any coffee, I sit down, I take a few deep breaths because the body hasn't had any deep breaths for the whole night. And then you do a body check or you do a mental check and you try to really feel, how do I feel inside my body today? Is there something that is mingling in my brain that I maybe should explore a little bit more during the day? Take the time to do that mental check. It is important I do it without any dopamine from social media or any caffeine, just my thoughts and brain as they are. And then what I do is I write down those thoughts. I want to keep track of, and what I found is that taking these 5 to 10 minutes during the day to just see what's going on inside, then starts planting the seeds that then sprout throughout the day. If I set an intention of, hey, I'm feeling this, hence I'm gonna do this, that is already an intention that I'm already aware in my brain and I'm gonna action it throughout the day, even if it's subconsciously. If I start the day checking my messages, checking YouTube analytics, I risk that I let those external factors to set up the mood of the day. So let's put it into a graph. If I start the day checking YouTube, checking messages, checking YouTube analytics, it is very likely that I risk myself to let those external factors influence how I start the day and how I set up the day. So if I wake up here in the middle, then those factors is very likely that they will lower it here in terms of energy. So then I need to put more energy during the day to just climb up and to just get back to the middle. However, if I start a different way and if I start checking and actually being aware and tuning in on how I'm feeling and setting up intentions during the day, it is very likely that if I wake up here in the middle and then I bring it out here, it is very likely that then during the process of the day, then I go a little bit down. And even if I go a little bit down, that's completely fine. I don't have to do the work or do the extra energy to just bring me back up as if I had done it in a different or opposite way. And of course, I don't do this every single day. Sometimes life gets in the way, but it's important that I keep myself in check of what is influencing how I set up my day and how I start my day. And of course, I don't want this to be a health and productivity episode, but I'm just sharing these thoughts and sharing this part of the process because I thought it was quite important about making videos. And hopefully they resonate with someone else. Even if they resonate with one person, I'll be happy. Thank you for listening until the end. If this resonated with you, feel free to check any of the diary episodes.